Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I'm Arif, and I welcome you all to the next session of the lecture series on Internet Networking with Linux. If you have not seen the previous session, FTP Server Part 1, I strongly recommend that you should first see that session and then fall back to this. Anyways, let me recall that in FTP Server Part 1, we understood the concept of file transfer protocol using famous VSFTP daemon running on our Ubuntu server machine and a standard FTP client on our Kali machine. We have seen how we can configure the VSFTP daemon by making changes in its configuration file located in the /c directory, and the configuration file name is vsftpd.conf. Later we saw that we can run our VSFTP daemon either under the control of zinetd, or we can also run it in a standalone mode. Finally, we successfully logged in via anonymous user without giving a password, as well as via local user Kakamana by giving a valid password. We also learned how to jail all the local users within their home directories by making certain changes in the configuration file. Let us move ahead, dear students, and in our today's session, FTP Server Part 2, we will first perform various operations like uploading and downloading files. Let us start playing. Right now I am on my Ubuntu server machine. Hostname is Ubuntu server. IP is 192.168.1.100. Let me check the status of VSFTPD service. Well, it is up and running. Let me over ensure and do netstat -ant and let me grab port 21. Okay, fine. So our Ubuntu server is up and running the VSFTP daemon at port 21. Let me move to our client machine. Hostname is Kali. Who am I? Well, I am Arif. Let me do sudo ifconfig 192.168.1.101. Okay. Let me clear screen and let me do FTP 192.168.1.100. The welcome banner is there. Let me give the username as Kakamana. SSL is not available. And let me give the password. And the login is successful. If I check the present working directory over there, you can see I am jailed inside my root directory, that is /home/Kakamana. And in that directory, I have these two directories, D1, D2, and some .c files and something else. I can of course move to directories within my home directories. You can see right now I am inside my home directory / and inside that I am in D1. Let me move back. Let me do pwd. I am now again in my root directory containing this. And if I check out on my local machine what is my present working directory, as I have said before, we precede the command with a bang sign. I'm in home Arif ftpdir. And if on my local machine I want to change directory, I can use the lcd command. Let's suppose I move on to temp. So you see I have moved to temp. And if I want to move to lcd home Arif and ftpdir, so I have moved over here. I can confirm this by bang pwd, and if I do ls, you can see these are the contents of directory on the remote machine, and bang ls, these are the contents of my local machine. Let us suppose that I want to get this secret.txt file from the server to my local machine, and I don't have this right now. So I'm going to use the get command, get secret.txt. So you see the transfer is complete, and if I do bang ls, that is check the contents of my present working directory on my local machine, you can see the secret.txt is there, while it was not there at that time. Well, I can use mget command in case if I want to download multiple files. I can give spaces between the file names. I can use wildcards. Let's suppose that on the FTP server I have some .c files and I want to download them in my local machine. So I will do mget, let's suppose asterisk.c. It will confirm. Okay, if I do bang ls, you can see the epoch.c and the power.c are now in my local machine. So you can download files easily. Let's see how we can upload files. Let me clear screen. Let me do ls on my FTP server and ls on my local machine. Let me upload file. And the file which I want to upload is, let's suppose, f1.txt. So if I want to upload f1.txt, which is not there on the server, I can use put command f1.txt. I press and enter, and then I use ls. You can see the f1.txt file is there on the server. Similarly, if you want to upload multiple files, you can use the mput command. Let me clear screen. Okay, do ls. If you want to delete files from your server, you can use the delete command. Let me use the delete command to delete, let's suppose, f1.txt. And let me do an ls. You can see the f1.txt is not there. Similarly, you can rename commands. If I want to rename the file epoch.c to something else.c, let me rename epoch.c to something else.c. Okay, and do a ls. You can see the epoch.c has been changed to something else.c. Right, dear students, this is really simple and fun. There are a lot of commands. You can type help and see all the commands which are available to you. And if you want to get a single liner description of a command, you can write down help and write down the command name. Let's suppose cd, which says change remote working directory. And if I do help lcd, it says change local working directory. Okay, let me say bye to this. Let me clear screen, and let us use a GUI tool for this uploading and downloading of files, because most of the students are very comfortable with GUI tools. Let me use Filezilla. Filezilla, we have already installed it in our previous session. So right now the Filezilla is up and running. It is a client available for Windows, Linux as well as for Mac OS. You can always use Filezilla server as well for Windows 10. So right now this is the interface, very simple. In the host part, we are going to write down the IP address of our Ubuntu server, that is 192.168.1.100. The username is Kakamana with a double N, and the password is PUCIT. I have told you the password, and port is of course 21. I type a quick connect. You can see This is the local site and I am inside home Arif FTP dir, and this is the remote site and I am jailed inside the Kakamana's home directory. Well, in case if I want to upload a file, let's suppose I want to upload f2.txt, so I right click, you can see the file over here. If I want to download a file, let's suppose I want to download this file something else.c, which is not in my local machine. I right click and download. You can see the file is there. Similarly, you can rename and you can delete files and directories, and there are a lot of options which you can search at your own. Let me quit this. Let me clear screen. Okay, dear students, now that our FTP server and client are transferring files properly, let us dig deep and see the security aspects of FTP. We will do what we have done in our telnet session before as well. That is, we will use Wireshark. Let me run Wireshark. Let me do sudo Wireshark. And you know that this is a packet sniffer program that captures network packets in real time and display them in human readable format. We need to select the interface. I have selected interface ETH0, and now it is showing the activities that are going on this interface. Let me on the filter part type FTP, because I am just interested in my FTP traffic. Now it will just capture the FTP packets, and let me move on to the other part of the terminal, and let me say FTP 192.168.1.100. Okay, so let me shrink this a little bit, and this is my Wireshark. So as you know, this is the packet listing window. It displays one line summary for each packet that is captured, and this is the packet header details window, which displays detail of a selected packet. If we have selected this, it will contain the detail of this packet. And this is a content window which will display the contents of the captured frame, both in hexadecimal as well as in the ASCII format. Let me move over here and give the username Kakamana with a double N, not a triple N, and the password PUCIT, and I am on. Over here, let me stop the capturing and let's see what's happening over here. So this is the source address, that is 100 to 101. This was sent by the server to a client machine. That was the response banner, welcome Arif to FTP server configured for learning purpose, that we have seen before. This is the packet that has been sent by the Kali to the server, and if I keep moving down, this is again the packet sent by the server to Kali that is asking for login and user passwords. This is from Kali to server, and again, and over here you can see this source address is 101, destination address is 100, and the username Kakamana, which has been sent. And now it is asking for the password, and over here you can see the password PUCIT. Well, this has the same security flaw as we have seen in the telnet, and on the telnet we moved on to the what we call SSH server, and over here we also need a solution for that. So let me close this. The main purpose of Wireshark is done. Now we know that the simple FTP protocol is not at all scary. Let me move on to full screen, come up on the Ubuntu server. Let's talk some concepts. Well, dear students, when the FTP protocol was initially drafted, security was of course not a concern. But now, due to the exponential growth of internet, Sending and receiving data over any public network without encryption is considered very risky. In order to address this issue, a set of security extensions to the original FTP protocol were proposed to protect the FTP data as it travels over the network using SSL encryption. One secure variant of FTP protocol is FTPS, File Transfer Protocol over SSL, and you have seen that we have installed FTP-SSL in a previous session. FTPS can run in two modes, and they are FTPS with IMPLICAT, implicit SSL. It runs on port 990/899. Any connection attempt made by a client without using SSL is refused by the server. That is why it has become obsolete in favor of FTPS with explicit SSL. We will be using FTPS with explicit SSL, which of course work on port 21 and 20. FTPS with explicit SSL can support both an unencrypted FTP as well as encrypted FTPS on this single port 21. Both the command as well as the data channel can be encrypted, and whether to use encrypted or unencrypted communication depends on the client. Okay, so let's move on to the Kali machine again and think of as how we can configure our very secure file transfer protocol daemon to ensure that it should work over SSL. For that, we need to do two things. The first thing we need to do is we need to create a digital certificate first. Digital certificate. Yes, this was what I postponed when we studied cryptography. And we do learn symmetric and asymmetric encryption along with hashing and digital signature. So today let us try to understand what is a digital certificate and try to create one for our Ubuntu server. Well, dear students, digital certificate is an electronic means of verifying someone's identity. In our case, the identity of our FTP server. A digital certificate with many other things contain name of the certificate holder and his public key. The public key algorithms to be used, the signature algorithms to be used, the validity period of the certificate, and of course the name of the certificate issuing authority, normally called the CA. The certificate issuing authority is a trusted third party who verifies the owner of the certificate. A company from whom you can get your digital certificate. Some trusted certificate authorities are Symantec, GoDaddy, and GlobalSign. Let me quit the C matrix program and let us view some certificates that are there in our Ubuntu server machine right now. Let me go to /SSL, and inside SSL let me go to certificates directory. Okay, so there are a lot of certificates which you can see, and one of them is Visa e-commerce root. Okay, let me clear screen and let me use OpenSSL. And if you have forgotten, let me remind you that from our cryptography session, OpenSSL is a full-featured toolkit for transport layer security. You can man it for details, but we have already used this command for generating hashes, for symmetric and asymmetric encryption, and for digitally signing and verifying documents. Today we will be using it for digital certificates. And right now, since I just want to view our digital certificate, so I will use the command x509 to open SSL. That is used to display a digital certificate. And -in is the in file, and that is in /c SSL, and inside SSL the certificates, and then Visa e-commerce root PAM. Let me press enter. Oops. Okay, let me clear screen, repeat the above command and see what's the issue. We have mistyped -in. Okay, so this is the digital certificate. I want to view the content, so I just write text -text and I pipe this to the less command. And now you can see the version, the serial number, the signature algorithm, the issuer, and so on, and all the details of this certificate are there. Dear students, right now I do not have dollars in my pocket to get a digital certificate from a certificate issuing authority like GoDaddy. So let me clear screen and think of creating a self-signed certificate for our VSFTPD server. And for that, you can always do man open SSL, and you can find different options, like the request option is good. Man req, this is a command that is used to create a self-signed certificate. It is a request to generate a certificate. Let me use this. Let me clear screen. Write the command open SSL. Let me correct the spelling. Open SSL req, and I give the option x509 that I want to generate a self-signed certificate. -no des, that means we do not want our private key file with passphrase, and -days 365, this means the validity of the certificate for 1 year. You can give any value of your choice. -new key RSA:2048. This option means generate a new private key based on RSA algorithm that is 2048 bits long, and -key out. So the key out will be in /etc SSL certificates vsftpd.pam. So this will contain the private key for the public key in the certificate, and let me do out as well. The same location, SSL certificates vsftpd.pam. Let me press enter. It is going to ask me different questions to be answered and to be entered in the digital certificate. And let me say the country name is PK, and the province is Punjab, with of course a single N, Punjab, and the city is Lahore. We normally call it Lahore, and the organization is Punjab University. Let me write PU, and the organizational unit is PUCIT, and the common name, let me write localhost over here, and let me press enter and give my email address arif@pucit.edu.pk. So that is it. The key is generated. Let me view the key by repeating the previous command, and this time I'm going to write the name of the file we have generated in /SSL certificates vsftpd.pam, and you can see over here the serial number, the signature algorithm, issuer is Pakistan, Punjab, Lahore, PUCIT, and so blah blah blah, and validity is of course 1 year. It is valid till 2018, November 2018. You can see the public key and other information. Let me quit and clear screen. Now we have the certificate. Let us open the vsftpd.conf file to enable our server to work on SSL. Let me vim /@cvsftpd.conf. Let me move down now. Let us see if this file contains, yes, this file contains all those information which I need. Okay, so what you need to do is, in the previous configuration file, we have written a no over here. SS enable is equal to no. You need to write a yes over here so that all control and data connections should be encrypted using OpenSSL. Allow non-anonymous SSL no, keep a no over here because we do not want anonymous user to come in because this is a secure FTP now. Force local logins SSL is equal to yes. That means all local logins are forced to use SSL connection to send passwords. And data SSL means that force all logins to use SSL connection to send and receive data as well. Okay, so over here we have the TLS version 1 that is enabled, SSL version 2 and SSL version 3 are not enabled. Let me tell you what this TLS and SSL versions are. Right, dear students, secure socket layer was basically introduced back in early 90s. Its version 1.0 was never actually released as it was not secure. Its version 2 was actually released, which you can see over here, SSL v2. It came in 1995, but it was having a lot of security flaws. Version 3, just after 1 year, it came in 1996. However, in 1999, TLS version 1.0 was released. SSL was replaced by transport layer security, which was a slight update of SSL version 3. Why the name changed from SSL to TLS? Basically, after the IETF, that is Internet Engineering Task Force, officially took over SSL protocol to standardize it, the name was changed to avoid any legal issues with the Netscape. Anyway, right now you will always use TLS version 1. 1.1 came in 2006 and 1.2 in 2008. Probably to the best of my information, 1.3 is still in progress. Anyway, after these three lines, you can see SSL ciphers. You can mention the SSL cipher if you know it. Otherwise, you can just write down a hi over here because you say you are interested in probably some high cipher suits over here. We will talk about cipher suits shortly. Require SSL reuse is equal to no means SSL data connections are not required to exhibit session reuse. Yes, SSL request certificate is equal to yes. Validate certificate is equal to no because I'm using self-signed certificate, and well, RSA certificate file and RSA private key file, these two contains the location of the RSA certificate to use for SSL encryption and the private key to use for SSL encryption. Well, after you have made these changes to your file, let's save and quit. You need to do systemctl stop vsftpd.service, and then you need to start it. You can just simply restart, and let me check the status. Well, it is running, and if it is running, so let me move on to my client machine and check out using FTP. Let me do FTP 192.168.1.100. Okay, we are connected. Welcome message is there. I just give the name Kakamana with a double N, Kakamana. Well, you see this time this line is there. SSL is enabled. This SSL cipher suit ECDHE RSA AES 256 blah blah blah. This means we have successfully enabled our FTP server to work on SSL. Well, this is not much Greek thing. ECDHE is basically elliptic curve Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. We talked about this before. Using RSA algorithm, using advanced encryption standard for symmetric encryption using 256-bit key. This GCM is basically Galois counter mode, a block cipher mode for symmetric encryption. We talked about the modes, stream and the block modes in our cryptography session. SHA-384 means use secure hash algorithm, and this SHA-384 is a member of SHA-2 family. If you want me to show you more details of this cipher suite, let me come over here on another terminal and write open Ssl Ciphers. Well, this is the list of cipher preference of our Kali machine, and you can see this ECDHE, ECDSA, and so on, and this is ECDHE, RSA, this. Well, this is the one which has been selected by the server. You can see. Probably this is the one which is not available with the server. Let me move on to the server and give the command. Let me improve the scale factor now. Open SSL Ciphers. You can see ECDHE, RSA, AES256, GCM, SHA-384. This is the first preference of the server, and this is the second preference of the client. So finally they have mutually agreed on to work on this cipher suite. This is the complete name of the cipher suite that has been agreed by both client and server for achieving secure communication. Let me give the password, and I'm successfully in. Let me quit by saying bye, clear screen. Let me use Filezilla. Okay, Filezilla is running. Let me give 192.168.1.100 and give the username Kakamana, and I'm not going to tell you the password, that is PUCIT, because this time you will not be able to see it. Well, so this is what the certificate is. The server has sent you the certificate, and once I accept it, only then I will be able to start with the communication. And this certificate contains a lot of details like the public key algorithm, the signature algorithm, the fingerprint, the subject of the certificate, localhost, PUCIT certificate issuer, and then the session details. If you really trust this, you can always trust certificate in future session. You can select this option. Then next time you don't have to accept it. This is the same thing that has happened in our SSH session as well. I just press OK, and once I press OK, I am up and running. However, you can always confirm that all the communication that is being done now is completely encrypted. I'm leaving this as an assignment. You can use Wireshark, our favorite packet sniffer, as a proof of concept. Well, let me clear screen and let me do matrix. Okay. Okay, so we have issues over here. No problem. Since I like matrix, so I can do matrix over here. So it says matrix is not found. If matrix is not there, then the C matrix must be there. Okay, so sorry. Okay, dear students, we are done with part 2 of FTP session. This session was the continuity of the previous session, and in this session we performed in the beginning various file operations like uploading, downloading, deleting, renaming files using the command line as well as the GUI tool, that is Filezilla. After that, we saw the security loopholes in the vanilla flavor of FTP and practically observed those using the Wireshark packet sniffer. Finally, we configured our VSFTP daemon to work over SSL, and for that, we created a self-signed digital certificate for our FTP server. And later, we make necessary changes in the configuration file of VSFTPD, that is, inside the etc directory vsftpd.conf. I hope this session was informative for you all. If you have liked it, please subscribe my YouTube channel and share it with your friends. Happy learning and Allah Hafiz.